Hey everybody, welcome back to Pinstriping Basics with Cambridge Pinstriping and me. Um, for the last two episodes, we've been practicing our curly lines, brush control over the curly lines, changing direction one way and the other. And on the last episode, we did feather drops and teardrops and wheat design, all sort of fancy shit was going on. So as promised, today we're going to build a full-on scrolling design. So we're going to combine all those lines and feather drops and teardrops together, and I'm going to show you my way of building that design. We're not going to work on the symmetrical design today. You can do it with scrolling, but today we're going to build very simple design. Again, it's not about making the design, blowing it out of proportion, making it super fancy. I just want to show you a few simple steps and tricks and techniques of how I build design, how I do it. It's not, as I said before, it's not by all means how it's supposed to be done and how professionals do it. It's how I do it, how I enjoy it, how I like to do it, and how I've been doing that for a couple of years, or maybe more right now. So let's get our brush loaded, and I'm gonna take you through a hopefully not too long journey today of building your first scrolling design using two, maybe three colors. No plan. See how it goes. See where it takes us. If the paint flows today, hopefully it does. Then we can have some fun with it. So join me for the ride, and let's do this. Alrighty, let's do this. So before we start loading the brush and doing all the other bits of artistic nature, we need to prepare the board a little bit, or whichever the surface we want to paint. Let's imagine it's you want to put a scrolling design in the center of a guitar or your motorcycle side panel, whatever. The way we're going to work on this design today, we want to do a scrolling design right down the middle of the practice board. Let's say it's a practice board, as it is. So as previously, we need to find a centerpiece of that. So basically find where the middle of this, that's 25 across, so it's going to be 12.5 up here, 12.5 on the bottom, and just draw a line through a center of your piece, whichever you're painting. Remember, this is not about symmetry today, so we just need to make a line more or less in the middle. I'm working with a yellow stabilo today because I've just lost my white one and I got yellow and blue ones left, so but it doesn't matter as long as you have some kind of reference of the middle of the piece, because we'll be working from top to bottom. It's not going to be exactly the same on each side. In fact, it's going to be very different on each side, but that's not the point of that design. Still, we want to keep it more or less in the middle of our practice board or petrol tank or a guitar or whatever we're painting. So that will help us guide our brush staying in the center of the design more or less, instead of going to the left, you know, or starting the design completely to the right. As you can do that, you know, with you can focus so much on the actual design that you can forget where the certain line is. So this is just for you to remember where that center line is. It don't need to be a full line. You can just do a couple of marks up and down once you get more practice with it, but this is good for now. Alright, once again, slightly different angle. This time we're gonna actually go ahead with our design right in the middle, all the way down. The brush is loaded with dark magenta, but pay no attention to the color. Color is completely unimportant. You can have any other color over here, whatever you fancy, whatever works for you, whatever you have handy right now. It's not about the color, it's about how to build it. So yeah, if you've been practicing for the last couple of weeks doing our circular lines, also the teardrops and feather drops, then you will have no problem whatsoever following over here. We're just combining these kind of two designs, and I'm gonna carry on with our circular lines, curvature going all the way down the board. I will change direction every now and again, I will press it harder to make it fatter lines, and I will stop and I will go back on itself as well. Just watch the brush and you see what happens. It's really simple as that. It's not rocket science. Nothing is planned. I didn't pre-design it in my head. They're gonna carry on and just see what it takes us. Yeah. So I'm gonna shut up for a few seconds. Just watch the brush and see what's going on, and see if we can pick something up over here. Okay. Here we go. Okay, let's say we've got our spine completed over here in one go. Repel it halfway through because I actually lose quite a bit of paint in these thick areas. So I've got this spine of my design done. Quite happy with it. It could be better, could be worse. Doesn't matter at the moment. So we're gonna build it on top of that. Now we've our circular design is more or less done. We're gonna add to it. We're gonna add our teardrops and feathers and a couple of other things. So yeah, let's repalette the brush again and join me then. So like I said before, there are no rules when it comes to this design. I just go down and do my scrolls, and whatever comes next, it just kind of I kind of explain it. I can't define it. It just goes. You turn left a couple of times, then you turn right, then you go left again. You press it down, you go back on itself. You repalette. It just flows. At one point, it will just flow. You just need to play with it. So many different styles and so many different artists pulling different lines, but just go what feels right for you. Some guys I've seen on YouTube or on other forums, they tell you always change direction every 2 circles, or never put 3 circles in the same direction, or something like this. I think that's a lot of bullshit. Just feel what feels right for you. Sometimes design requires to be a bit more oriented in one way than the other. Sometimes you have to have more thicker lines than I've done over here. Sometimes you need to go back to it and add little bits and pieces in the design. But again, you finish, you look at it, and then you work from that point. We take it from there. Just like this one, for example. I'm looking at design from top to bottom. I like what's going on over here. Over here is a bit flat, so I would like to add some thickness to it. So why not? I'm gonna put like a little line over here just to emphasize this little curve over here. So I'm gonna start here, press it down, and do my feather all the way down. I can connect it to this line. I don't need to. I've connected it. It looks a bit better in my eyes right now. It's a bit wonky, but I'm holding the camera and working the brush at the same time. Let's go and fix it a little bit. As I said before, you don't need to be perfect the first time. You can go back and doctor it a little bit so it looks a bit more like it's supposed to be there. Yeah, so that's it. You can double the thickness, like this line over here. I would like to add one more over here, so why not? Let's do it right now. You don't need to connect it anywhere. It just kind of looks a bit more funky this way. I kind of like it. Kind of like what's happening here. Right, let's add wings to this one, shall we? Okay, now we're gonna add our feathers and our teardrops over here that we've been practicing last week. So that's the way I like to work. I like to work from top to bottom and then come back to it and have a look what needs to be done. So I like to pick a one curve, like this one over here, for example. I think there needs to be something done over here. So I'm gonna carry on and start our, let's say, a teardrop, a regular teardrop design, or a feather design, which is very similar to that. But let's do a teardrop over here, so it's not so sharp and pointy. So I'm gonna start more or less from here and press it down hard. And when I'm curving that around the corner, I'm aiming to the centerpiece over here. And then, as you remember, next one to it, I'm gonna start halfway through, and I'm gonna do the same thing but half the size. And I don't need to connect those lines in the bottom over there. They look fine as they are. Sometimes you connect them and it just looks just fine. So then again, halfway through to the smaller one. So press it down and release the pressure. And again, halfway through to the even smaller one, so you go really tiny now. And halfway through until you get a couple of dots coming over here. And this is what you end up with on this side. Right, and let me repalette the brush. That's my girlfriend, by the way. No, it's not. Right, whilst we're on this side, let's carry on this side. I mean, that looks pretty empty, looking at the whole design. That looks pretty empty over here, and a little bit thinner as well. So I would like to spread it out, give it some wings. I'm going to do the same things I've done over there. So hopefully you get better angle now. I'm going to go like here, why not? Press it down, do a little wing, hard, and while I'm going around the corner, I'm releasing that pressure. And the next one more or less halfway through or 3/4 up. I'm going to do the same thing and go down over here, and so on and so forth. It is simple as that. We practiced that last week. Now we're just applying that towards the towards our board, so the design looks a bit more pleasant for the eye. Cool. Looking better now already, doesn't it? Yeah, at this point you need to repalette the brush a bit more often, because that actually leaves quite a lot of paint on the board, as you can see. So just go ahead and repalette that. If you want to come over here, you want to change the direction of feathers, you can do the same thing, do the upstrokes. So let's say we go on the bottom over here, this one's going up to down, we're going to go down to up, we're going to do the opposite way. So I like the spot over here, so I'm going to press it down and then release my pressure while I'm going up the hill. And I'm going to go more than halfway through, press it down, release the pressure. Same thing over here, and over here, and over here, and over here. So we end up with something like that. Simple, right? It doesn't get any simpler than that. If you've been practicing, you can pull that off. Again, another view and another angle. Hopefully you can pick something up better from here. Again, guys, drop me a comment, drop me a message which angles work better for you. I'm trying to work my camera the best I can. I'm new to that video editing stuff and all that bullshit, so please forgive me if the angles or the glare from the window or something is not perfect. I'm doing my best here. So once again, I got feathers, wings on this side. I want to add something on the other end. I'm not going to go for the same one. I can do, but I choose not to, so I'm going to go on this part over here. Get you a little bit closer. You can see it. Can you see it over here? Yeah. So I'm going to do the exactly same thing, but the other way around. We practice them both ways. So I'm going to go over here, press it down hard, and once we release, I go around the corner all the way. I like to wrap it around. Some guys like to leave it a bit more open. I like wrapping mine around. It's just a personal preference, you know. I guess that's what develops your style and gives you a unique technique, you know, something that can be recognized later on without looking at the signature, you know. So there's quite a few of these I can actually do over here, because as we go around the corner they're getting longer and longer. Right there. I'm gonna take you a little bit lower over here. I'm gonna go the same way on this one. Little belly over here, so let's wrap it. I'll start over here. Again, no rules, just pure imagination. Whatever goes for you, you just go ahead with that, you know. And if it doesn't look good, well, then you know it won't look good and you won't do it again. You do something different again. That's why we practice, and you're gonna practice board and not on a £25,000 motorcycle. The owner wouldn't be too happy about it. Right, let's do one more somewhere. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go on the very top of that, and I'm gonna go upside down. Beautiful practice board. You can switch it around, put it upside down, and that's very handy for me over here because I'm limited in space right now. So I'm gonna go over here and do it the upside down stroke. So I'm gonna go here and just pull those here, just like that. And you can go really fine in the end, and that gives it that little bit extra edge, that lightness to the whole design. There we go. Let me take you for a spin so you can see what's happening here. So that's our design at the moment. There's a little bit more to go for that, obviously. We're gonna add another color and some more designs to that. Yeah, let's keep building that. See where we stop. Yeah. Okay, so going forward, I want to show you a little trick I learned from a good friend of mine. Very talented pinstriper. He's a scrolling pinstripe artist. His name is Bruce Wood in the UK. Very talented guy. He was like, Mike, why don't you put some highlights into those feathers design? Just make it a little bit more lighter and just bring it a bit more to life. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I will. So before you clean up your brush, add some white. Mix some white with the current paint. Because by the way, enamel paint can be mixed through colors. So adding some white to your current design, your current paint, sorry, gonna make it a little bit lighter. You know, if it's too light, add some original color to darken it up. And right now we have baby pink because we're working with magenta, and the next step down is like, yeah, it's looking pinky. It's too pinky for my liking, so I'm just adding a bit of original color just to darken it up a little bit, not too much. And once my brush is fully loaded with that color I like, I'm gonna go over those teardrops I just done, and I'm just gonna highlight the tip of it. I'll show you how it's done. Let's have a look. Right, so here we are. Brush fully loaded with a lighter shade of that same color, the base color we've been working on. And what I basically want to do right now, I'm just gonna go for the tip, the fat bit of that feather. Press it down gently and pull it lightly down. It's up to you how long you want it. If you press it down, don't press it too hard so it doesn't go around the edges. I would like to keep inside my current feather, my current teardrop, and just release it gently while you go up. And that gives it a little bit of lightness to it. It looks like the tip, hopefully the camera is picking that up. It's not a great light over here, but yeah, that gives it a little bit extra extra dimension, extra depth to that design. It's not just boring flat color. You got something going on. You got highlights, which is just make it a little bit more extra special. Same thing goes for this long drops over here. You can go down over here, press it down hard, and just carry on through the whole of the design. until very thin. That again give you extra dimension to it. You get a highlight in that color, and it just looks a little bit more special. But then again, you can overdo it in some designs, especially in the darker colors, darker bikes you're working on. Sometimes it's better to leave it flat. If you do that in some colors, it just doesn't work. But that's again a matter of personal preference and experience, and how you like stuff. I want to show you that little trick over here because it's definitely a good thing to know. So just the purpose for this exercise, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add some highlights to some of my maybe the middle bit only of my feathers. I'm not gonna go crazy and go everywhere, but maybe middle of the design, and I'll leave them to flat as they are. Note over here, you can go really in depth over here. You can highlight, you can put another highlight in there. You can even more mix that color, make it even lighter, and then you go back and just fix the tip again and again until it's really white. And it goes for every other color you can do. If you do red, for example, you do it to orange, and you go yellow and white. But it's a personal preference how you want to do it. Let's keep it simple for now. I'll show you that trick. Let's carry on. Change the color now. Alrighty, so we're back. I got my brush loaded now with green. I believe that's emerald green by One Shot. White green, just because I picked just like 3 cans when I was leaving home this morning, and I picked up green and magenta. So there's no specific reason why I'm using these 2 colors. There are probably better color combo for that, but that's not important. Okay, we've got a brush loaded with a different color right now, and what I want to do, I want to add to these feathers. This is how I will build my design. So I'm gonna go upside down basically from this. I'm gonna copy these bad boys over here, and I'm gonna go downstroke from them. And this is when the design comes really to life, because you add an extra color, which is extra depth, and you can pull these lines really nice, thin, and you can finesse it so it really gives it wings. So let's say I've got this one finishing over here. So I'm gonna start. I don't need to necessarily want to connect them. I'm gonna start just like a 5 mil or 3 mil, depends on the design, from that feather, the teardrop. I'm going to press down, and I'm going to follow that line and see where the brush takes me. So let's have a look at that. So I'm pressing down just like that, and once I'm releasing that pressure, I'm going to do like a sweep design over there. And I'm going to carry on doing the same thing with each and every of those feathers. You know, that's how I like to build it. So I'm pressing down over here again, boom, and I'm going to follow that design over there. Let's do a couple more here. And this one, same technique, you know, just go in the opposite direction. And there's really small ones over here. Tiny one over here. You can have a couple more. Yeah. So here we go. So that's the first part completed. I'm going to carry on around the design and adding the same things over and over again. Let's see if I can give you a better angle for that. Okay. I will try to take you for the ride with me on this one. I picked the small one on the bottom. I'm going to try to hold the camera with one hand and strive with the other. So move the panel so it works better for me. So again, same story. I'm going to start on the tip of each one of those bad boys, and I'm going to just make a feather design going down from that. So I'm not worried what's behind me at the moment. I just worry about making my design looking nicer over here. You can cross over here. I think it's going to look good. Let's see what we can do. So press it down. And once I'm releasing that, I release the pressure and increase my distance from my practice board. and I'm going to try to follow, making them more or less symmetrical, not symmetrical, equal distances from each other. I'm going to keep following this these teardrops over here, like this, and there's one more over here. And 2 or 3 more, smaller and smaller. You can add a couple more if you want to. So there we go, that's starting to look more or less like it's supposed to now. Let's carry on with 3 or 4 more of these, okay? Let's try this angle. I'm not sure how well that's gonna work, but well, live and learn, see what happens. So yeah, same deal on this one. Same old story. I'm gonna press my brush down over here and just carry on the design until it's like really thin in the end. Same over here. Press it down and follow. Press it down on this one and reduce the pressure while I keep going over there. And same over here. And this one here as well. There's a couple more small ones. Just literally tiny touch, tip down and release the pressure. There we go. And the same old thing again. That's how it goes. That's what we practice, so when we've got a design we don't mess it up. And the same thing over here. Just press it down and stripe it down. Release that pressure when you carry on. Whether you do feathers or teardrops over here, that's completely up to you. And a couple of small ones over here left. There you go. One more up north over here. Let's see if I can give you a good view. So nothing unusual about this one. Same thing, just practice. It's actually quite enjoyable at that point. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get. It's quite simple as that, you know, and it's very satisfying when the design comes together. Just keep practicing. And if people tell you, oh, I would never be able to do that, just turn around and say, practice. That's all it is. Right, there's the last one over here. We don't need to add these green bits to it, but because it's a practice board, for practice sake, let's do it. I just want to get the point through. We don't need to finish every single one with the opposite side feathers and teardrops, but let's just do it for the practice sake, yeah? Whatever looks good for you guys. So one more time, the same thing over here. Press down, release the pressure while you curving that line around the corner. It's very simple. All the way around the same thing. And one more over here. That's how it's done. So let's have a look at the design from top to bottom. Are we finished with this? Maybe, or maybe not. See if we can add something more. Taking a step back at it, looking at the whole design, this section over here is a little bit empty. So I have my brush loaded with green. Why don't we add something here over here? Just make that design, instead of flaring off the wings, we're gonna make actually green wings itself from that over here. Yeah? Let's reload the brush and let's do it over here. Okay, so I'm choosing to put some green wings on this side, just because you got green over here and green over there. Don't want to oversaturate it with green. I'm gonna go with more room over here. Gonna go with the flow of this one over here. So add some feather drops this way, just quickly for the practice sake. It just makes it a bit more enjoyable as well. Right, and I would like to add some highlights to a couple of those greens. So I'm going to mix up some white, add to my green, and just dilute the color so it's slightly lighter. Let's have a look. Okay, so my brush is loaded with the slightly lighter shade of green, and like previously, I'm going to go just for the tips and add highlights to my design, just like that. And I'm going to stick to highlights to the area when the highlights already been applied to the previous color. Not that I do that in a regular design. If I apply highlights, I like to apply highlights for the whole design, but this is just a practice piece, and I want to just show you a couple of tricks while we're doing it. And I don't want a video to take another 45 minutes, because nobody wants to watch that. So we try to keep it short. It's not always possible, because while I'm talking about it, I realize how much information there actually is to give you guys. That's why I'm trying to break it down to smaller chunks in different videos. Hopefully that is a bit more easier to digest for some of you. Okay, I'm gonna add more highlights to this side what I just created. So again, lighter shade of green mixed up with white, same color mixed up with white, makes it slightly lighter, and it gives that extra dimension to the design. But I'm not going to apply it everywhere. You know how to do it anyway. So this is the side with highlights and side without highlights. Which one works better is the real question. Which one works better for you, or which one works better for this particular design, for the design you're working on? Depends on the surface you got on. So more or less we're nearly there. Let's see if we can add a little bit special to it, something, yeah. Okay, I found some processed blue. That was the last kind I had. Probably wrong choice of colors over here, but again, that's not important. I'm gonna add third color over here. See how it's gonna look. Again, I'm just gonna go back from the green, press it down and follow. Not enough reducer on the paint, but that's okay, we can fix this. Coming back here, follow that design. So we're adding third color over here. If you want to add three colors, you probably want to mix it up into the design on early stages instead of going all green. But we're not talking about color corrections over here. Today I want to just show you a basic design build and not how to pick colors. That is a completely different video for that. But again, adding some extra depth and dimensions over here. And once we on the blue, why not add with the third color? I'd like to just add some details, like little touches. So I've got blue going on this side only. So I'm gonna add a little bit blue into the middle of those fat lines. It gives it a nice balance over the whole design. If you look at the whole design and not just one detailed spot, it gives it a nice touch to throw that third color somewhere where it hasn't been before, like over here as well on the top. I'm just looking at this and I'm just like picking spots, picking places I can add to it. And then if you want to go completely crazy, we can add highlights to existing magenta, which is kind of pinky purple, and with blue actually works really well. So we can do that too. You can add like highlights somewhere along the you can add highlights somewhere along the line of the design over here. So again, dip gently, just a tip, and once you release the pressure, pull the line, release the pressure, and that gives you that bits and bobs. Yeah, one more trick, and we're gonna wrap it up. Now remember this little trick I show you probably on the very first episode, or maybe first two episodes, when you stick the tip of the brush, not the tip, the handle of the brush in paint, and that creates perfect little circles little dots. So I'm gonna use that trick and put my dots in between those feathers. I need some more, so I can dip it right in the can. It's a bit fatter, and I'm gonna use this little dots in between my teardrops. Again, you don't need to go through all of them like this, but if you got nice ones over here like that, just give it some extra love. And again, the colors could have been picked better, but if you've got nice contrasting colors, it really brings it back to life. Well, not back to life, it brings it to life just a little bit extra. People not usually notice these little things, but when they see it, they go, wow, it looks amazing. Little extra details like that, I believe that makes the whole design just a little bit better than the last one. And you know, the devil is in the details, and I agree with that. Right, let's sign our name underneath, because we need to be proud of this design, and we're gonna wrap it up. Always sign your name underneath the design you just created. It's your work, and you have to be proud of it. There we go. Our first scrolling design, very briefly, is completed. There we go, guys. Completed your first full scrolling design. Well done. I hope you enjoyed that video. Once again, the color combo wasn't the best. Don't pay any attention to that at this stage. We can discuss colors in some later video, how to choose them and adjust them, but that's a completely different subject. Today was just about building a basic design, you know, how I approach it, how I like to build my scrolls when it comes again to non-symmetrical scrolls, like single column scrolls, and hopefully you can pick something up from that. That was just a basic idea of how to build it and how I do it, how I see it, and how I like to approach it. If you do enjoy that video, and if you and if it helps you, if it helps anybody, get in touch and show me the pictures of your practice boards. Show me what you can come up with. I'd love to see that. Some of you already got in touch with me and you're sending me your progress, and it's really enjoyable. It keeps me going forward. It really does, making these videos. So I can see somebody else benefits from that, and it can help you out, you know, one way or the other. And likely so, if you have any questions about pinstriping or giraffes, get in touch as well. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, email, everything is down there in the descriptions. You can find me, you know how to find me. I'll be very, very happy to help. Once again, guys, well done today. That was a long session, but we got there in the end, and well deserved beer in the night of in the end of the night. So until next time, and remember, practice, have some beer, and practice. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.